We're back with our weekly review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This time it's episode 8 and we've got an interesting one in our hands, with a harken back to a TOS fantasy style episode, with a sci-fi twist because of course. We do have some incredibly cheesy acting and emotion to drive it all home. Spoiler warning, this is your heads up, we'll be discussing all things Strange New Worlds episode 8. As such, you have been warned. Turn away now if you've not watched the episode yet. Why not? Go watch it, what are you doing here? Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack, let's get straight into it.
Thanks to Star Trek Timelines for sponsoring this video. Become a captain and take command of your own starship in the ultimate Star Trek strategy role-playing and interactive mobile game. It's free to play and available on all devices, including iOS, Android, Windows, Steam, Facebook, Samsung and Huawei. Simply download it by clicking on the link in the video description or by scanning the QR code right now. You can also claim the special rewards. Be quick, captains! You'll find all your favourite Star Trek series characters, such as of course Captain Picard, Mr. Spock, Captain Pike, Janeway, and even Beckett and Marin from Lower Decks. You'll also be able to command iconic and legendary starships, such as the USS Enterprise or even the USS Discovery, while taking part in legendary PvE and PvP battles. You'll also be putting your captain skills to the test, so be ready. Download today using the link in the video description or by scanning the QR code below. Enjoy the video.
So this episode is titled The Elysian Kingdom, and it's written by Akela Cooper and Anita Johnson, with Akela having written episode 3 of Strange New Worlds and Anita having been the first credited writing gig, with the episode being directed by Trek newcomer Amanda Rowe. So before we actually warp into this video with the old hit it, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates, and I mean daily updates on the Star Trek universe. But as always, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, because if you're talking about Star Trek, then of course we want to hear about it. Okay, you know what's coming.
You gonna say the thing?
Hit it.
So as we said during the intro, this is definitely a Strange New Worlds fantasy episode, similar to TOS's Plato's Stepchild, or TNG's Cupid, and I have to say, they did a pretty good job adding this repertoire of fantasy Trek episodes. Obviously this fantasy isn't created by Q or some of the aliens who love Plato, but by an alien entity whose consciousness is without form and within a nebula, which already is a pretty cool concept and very Star Trek. This entity creates this fantasy, based on the book that Menger has been reading to his daughter all season long. So we get to see the seeds being planted all the way near the beginning of the season. By the way actually, I think we obviously get Menger's first name actually mentioned, which is Joseph, so that's pretty cool. For talking about the book, we get to see its full coverage in this episode, and you won't believe who actually wrote this novel. Benny Russell. Now for those of you who might not remember Benny, he was Captain Sisko's alter identity during his prophet vision in the great episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Far Beyond the Stars, and also Shadows and Symbols. Now this is obviously just a little Easter egg for us Trekkies who dive into every shot of every episode, but I guess this means Benny Russell did exist. But can the dreamer and the dream exist at the same time? Makes you think, doesn't it? But as the fantasy stems from the book, the episode centers around Menger and his daughter Rukia. Getting to hear Menger giving his chief medical officer log at the beginning of the episode was a truly amazing thing to listen to, and getting an episode centered around Babs, Menger, is highly overdue. He brings such emotion to his character, losing his temper when his daughter is threatened and almost losing when he thinks his daughter might be lost for good. But the thing that really got to me from this incredibly silly episode is the end. The decision of Menger has to make at the end of the episode. At first I thought the decision was whether he would choose the ship or his daughter, which would be devastating. But no, it turns out the reason why this entity made his fantasy on the ship wasn't Rukia's enjoyment. The Nebula entity sensed that Rukia was lonely and could relate from her own experience of simply being a consciousness alone in the nebula. This can also make Rukia healthy, but only within the nebula itself. A catch. Dr. Menger has to choose whether to let his daughter stay in the nebula, essentially losing her but knowing she's alive and safe, or keep her in the buffer until he might find a cure for her. Babs' acting in the scene is absolutely superb. You can sense his unease of the decision in his movements, and how he holds on Rukia and continues to hold on to her throughout the conversation. In the end, because he truly loves his daughter, he lets her go. He lets her have a life, which is better than being stuck in a transporter buffer and only interacting with your dad, which is sort of sad and depressing. I thought this would be the end of the emotion, but then they bring back, and Rukia's conscience appears as a grown adult Menger, to make sure he understands just how much it was her choice, and that she has a life and is enjoying it. We learn that Rukia has called the Nebula consciousness Deborah, after her mum and Menger's wife. And with us wondering where the mother might be, it seems like unfortunately she has passed away at this point, with Rukia not even knowing what she looked like. But Menger also being able to see his child grown up and look much like his lost partner. It brought many of us to tears almost. Again, Babs blows this episode out of the water with his acting potential and skills. Even though this might be the end of this moment for Rukia, Menger's storyline, they do tease that we might see Rukia again sometime in the future. Maybe this is the reason why Babs leaves the Enterprise, to spend some time with his daughter in the Nebula. Now I'm just even more excited than already as we got Menger in Strange New Worlds. I love this character. So after not appearing for a while, Chief Engineer Hema returns in this episode, and what a great episode to return to. In some scenes, the episode very much becomes a buddy cop episode between Dr. Menger and Hema, two characters which have hardly interacted on our screens and seem to have hardly interacted on the ship either, with Hema not knowing about Menger's daughter, but their scenes together are absolutely hilarious and we need more of them. Also, it's a neat little touch that Hema is immune to the entity's powers due to his heightened telepathic powers, with the Aenar being more telepathically gifted than the Vulcans, making it work when Spock was not immune. I especially love just how over the top Hema gets into the fancy setting. From watching Hema, as come across as a very grumpy and miserable bastard, and I love that about him, but also being grumpy, yet still managing to be goofy in extremely goofy scenarios is amazing. Abracadabra, I like it. It's a great line from Hema as a simple, I'm a wizard. Let's be honest, we all want to see magic of science!
Once again, the magic of science prevails. Too much?
But I would like to think this sparks a relationship between Hema and Menger, but unfortunately, it seems like everyone apart from Dr. Menger has forgotten the entire situation. So maybe we won't get that, which is kinda sad. We've got to credit the costuming in this episode, it was exquisite. The costume department really went above and beyond to give us some very fantastical costumes for everyone. But I will say, whoever did Pike's hair has ruined it. And I know that was a point for this character, but hopefully we'll have the return of height that is Pike's hair next episode. It definitely has the high ground. One very interesting thing is that Christina Chong, who played Princess Thalia, also got her own dog brought into this episode, who had a matching outfit as well. So I'm sure she was really happy for that, and also added a lot to her character and just how insufferable she actually was. But insufferable in a nice way, you get what I mean. Other characters who did really well in the new costumes was Lieutenant Ortigas, whose witty back and forth between her and Pike were hilarious. And the sword fight between Ortigas and the Crimson Guards was really cool. There is something I could see Ortigas doing, so it wasn't too much diversion from the actual character there, even though it did feel like Game of Thrones and Star Trek. Spock on the other hand played the wizard Pollux, and showed his very different side to Even Peck's acting, but we've seen him playing Spock, as he's happy to actually play an evil wizard. I'm happy for him in that, it was amazing. Let's not forget Celia Rose Gooding as the evil Queen Neve. We've seen her really bringing her A game and portraying an evil villain. I say evil gently. Her costuming was great and her acting was absolutely amazing. Just quickly before we get to the next part, the utilisation of the Enterprise ship and covering of establishments instead of simply wishing a crew away to another place, like in Cupid, I think is a genius idea. Not only is this cost effective, but also worked with the story extremely well. We're exploring the ship, but differently at the same time. All these locations have been transformed. Which is your favourite? I kinda like the sick bay and the bridge. Just like last week, was this best episode of Strange New Worlds? Probably not. But it was an interesting and funny and also emotional episode nonetheless. Like we said, it harkened back to these fancy style episodes which we've only really got on lower decks at this point. So it's nice to see a return of form and Camp Silly kinda fun. All the actors did an amazing job just showing off how wide the acting range actually is. For the best performance this episode obviously has to go to Babs, as he really brought so much to the episode and it hinged on him, literally. We get some humour from him, some cool scenes, but really it was the emotional scenes which won the day. Is it too bad that I would like to see Menger suffer more, just because how well Babs is actually able to communicate it to the audience? Maybe. His first reaction to everything like kicking off the ship was disbelief. Likewise, I would also be a little miffed about what's going on. You know, if I think I was in Dr. Menger's place, I would just grabbed a phaser and started stunning people. Is that bad? I don't think so. It would have solved some of the situations the crew found themselves in, maybe it wouldn't actually get to the end of the plot, who knows. This episode does a really good job of being lighthearted but touching at the same time. It's a hard writing task to pull off, but the writers have done a fantastic job I think. While I managed to hold them back, I think some of you, and be honest, had some manly tears or just ugly crying coming through at the end of this episode. The resolution of Rakir's storyline was a fantastic and touching moment for Strange New Worlds.
Once again, a big thank you to Starship Timelines for sponsoring this video. Download today using the link in the video description or by scanning the QR code below and play the ultimate Star Trek strategy game.
So, what did you think of the latest episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds? This was episode 8, The Elysian Kingdom. Did you like it, hate it, or love it? Let us know in the video comment section below. Because like always, you know what I'm going to say, if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. As usual, keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news, lore and more. Hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from myself and the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server, links down below. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching and we'll see you next week for episode 9, which I think is the horror episode and the Crash Constitution episode. I'm excited. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.